Taste my raid. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Taste my raid. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Taste my rain. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Taste my rain.
One, two, 1, 2.
Welcome to the motherfucking channel. Welcome to the motherfucking channel.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome to the motherfucking channel. make it to the end. Welcome, friend. You're gonna make it to the end.
The stream is gonna start soon. Stick around, baby.
Welcome, friend. You're gonna make it to the
Cool.
end. Welcome,
Let's
friend.
turn this nonsense off and start the process. Hello. Working out some issues, of course, technical stuff, but today basically we're going to be editing the audio drama, how I make music with Gabe Alvarez. He sounds like this. That's his music, at least.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called Back to the Berenian.
Okay.
It's an action-packed cinematic soundtrack which I scored for the sci-fi audio drama Starcalled. It's an epic 6-minute piece which serves as an emotional roller coaster, whisking the listener from the clutches of the advancing enemies. The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called Back to the Berenian.
Alright, cool.
It's an action-packed cinematic soundtrack which I scored for...
Let's get on with it. Okay, first things first, make this voice sound a little bit better.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called...
Okay, we've got a bit of delay because of there's already a bit of Valhalla delay on it, this plugin here. So let's stick that guy over there, and then the all the parameters relating to the voice. So you can see there's a lot of these envelopes have already been edited. What we're going to do now is figure out a way to do it a little bit better. Cool. Alright, whatever. Here we go.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called Back to the Berenian.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of editing that's happened here already. Now, it would be nice to set up a template so I don't have to re-edit everything from scratch every single time. First things first, get rid of the volume envelope so that I can... looks like I just got rid of all envelopes, but that's fine. Okay.
The piece of music we're listening...
Soloing the voice.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called Back to the Berenian.
Cool, not bad. Let's cut some of those highs. So here we go. Got a compressor already. I've knocked off everything off over about, what is this, about 10,000, 10k. Everything's been knocked out.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background...
There's still a bit of a sound, so I'm going to roll off the tops more.
The piece of music we're listening to in the
Now it sounds boxy.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called... The piece of music we're listening to in the
There we go.
background is called...
So that's a bit easier on the ear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in a couple of passes. What I usually do is I do a few passes. First pass being the arrangement of all of the elements. So for this pass, I'm literally just going to avoid any issues to do with volume, tweaking volume levels, and also going to avoid any kind of creative stuff. So the addition of reverbs and delays. Think about at this point. If you try to do it once, your brain melts. So I'm going to just figure out, like I've been doing it successfully. First things first, get all of these items in the correct place in your arrangement, in the timeline.
The piece of music we're listening to in the background is called Back to the Berenian.
And now pause, and we're listening to music. 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's an action-packed cinematic soundtrack which I scored for the sci-fi audio drama Starcalled.
2, 3, tension, tension, tension. 5.
It's an epic 6-minute piece which serves
Now,
as...
this is a climax there, and his voice cuts it off. So what I would like to do is interrupt that a little bit. Sorry, not interrupt that a little bit. What I'd like to do is let the music finish its point before his voice comes in.
It's an epic
There,
6-minute
much
piece
better.
which serves as an emotional roller coaster,
Okay.
whisking the listener from the clutches of the advancing enemies.
Yes, you have my attention. I love this guy's music.
You're listening to How I Make Music, where behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own
A
stories.
little bit of a pause there between musicians, which doesn't do it justice, so I'm going to cut that.
Behind this,
Playback issue.
you're listening to How I Make Music, where behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own stories.
Behind the scenes musicians, I would like that to be smoother.
Behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their
A
own
little bit of an obvious cut, but it's fine. Other thing is, we'll do volume levels later.
music, where behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own stories.
Behind the scenes musicians.
Musicians get to tell behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own musicians get to tell their behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own
A
stories.
little bit back.
We break apart a song. Behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own stories. We break apart a song, soundtrack scenes, musicians get to tell their
Much better.
where behind the scenes, musicians get to tell their own stories. We break apart a song, soundtrack, or composition and investigate the insights into how it was made. My name is Gabriel Alvarez. I'm a writer and music composer from Austin, Texas, and this is How I Make Music.
Okay, I might actually just get him to redo this entire section. I think he'll be up for it. So I'll just put a pin in this entire thing for now, and we'll carry on from here.
Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode 60, Back to the Berenian, composed by me, Gabriel Alvarez. Thank you for being here. I've been a musician
Okay,
for...
good. Now, what we actually want, this is what we've been doing differently since these episodes that I'm working on now were published in like June last year. So there was actually a long time interval. Now, since then, everything's developed. So the whole thing's just become so much better. So I'm taking the more modern format that I've developed through this process, and I'm going back to the earliest episodes of the show, and I'm adapting all of those early episodes to the current template so that it sounds consistent. And according to the current template, what we have here is a clip from the audio drama itself. So make a region over here, which is typically called AD, audio drama. What was my shortcut for that? Was it Control H? Oh yeah, for the win. Cool, nice quick color change there. Okay, so the next step would then be sourcing the actual oh wait, I can kill Photoshop. Sourcing the actual audio drama. So this might take a few minutes. I'll show you how I go. Don't need that. Don't need that. Just figured something out. In the preferences, it's imported all of these files. Preferences, media. There we go, cool. So Reaper actually, yeah, when importing, okay. Reaper remembers settings. So a year ago I was automatically using the copy all files. This setting over here, create subdirectory and copy all media. It had that ticked automatically, although I don't want it now, so I've got to disable it. So often when you're editing, you go on these side missions, which mean, you know, during which you have to update your preferences and you have to continually refine your tool, which in my case is Reaper. So I've just made my life a little bit easier by taking the 5 minutes required to solve a problem once. Now I know how to fix it, and it's not going to be a problem again. Much better approach than sidestepping or putting a pin in the project, in the problem every single time, and we go back to it every single time you're doing the same task. Okay, next up we've got to get some glorious star-called audio. What's the best way to listen? RSS. Okay. Cool. Chapter 8, final. This is another trick I've got. If you can find the RSS feed of a podcast, do a search for MP3 and you can much more easily find the MP3 you want. Currently this is my first go-to for downloading a file. So I should be able to have it here, and we'll save that. Cool. Immediately save it to the right place. So it's going to be under How I Make Music, Gabe Alvarez. Create the new folder according to my new protocol, which AD is the audio drama material itself. Oops. What happened there? Oh, we've saved it twice, which we don't need. Cool. And in a minute I'll be able to import that into the project itself. I have a feeling that I'm going to need a couple of these, so I'm just going to take episode 2 as well. Save that to the same place. Oh! Jeez, this is such a good show, man. I mean, what Gabe's done here is really fantastic. It's like just cinema without the picture, basically. He's done the top quality delivery. Okay. I'm going to leave that page open in case the one that we've just downloaded. I'm going to stick it in this lane over here called AD. Let's just change that to bus AD. And we're going to change that to bus music. And let's just change that to bus Fox too, because those are the big boys. Music, audio drama, and vocals is at the heart of the show. That's exactly what. That's all that. Good. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Live streaming my work.
Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode 60, Back to the Berenian, composed by me, Gabriel Alvarez. Thank you for being here.
Cool, so this is the very opening passage of this entire audio drama. This is the very start of the story.
Clouds of sand billow across a vast red desert. An alien city sprawls over the dunes, the capital city of Adari.
I've been a musician for, I don't know.
One thing I want to do is first just turn down the volume of the audio drama. I think we might actually have to do the same here. Cool. Let's, yeah, kill this entire envelope. In fact, Alt E should do it. Good. I've got a neutral volume envelope, collapsing options, reducing variables. What I'm looking for now is a suitable clip which shows off what this show is about. That's good sound effects, a lot of reverb.
Let's go, Senator.
Oh yes, this is the beginning part where the senator, there's an assassination attempt on the senator. Okay, so this intro music works well for its
Welcome
position.
back to
I'm
How
gonna
I Make
cut
Music, episode
to
60,
here.
Back to the Berenian, composed by me, Gabriel Alvarez. Thank you for being here.
Let's see how this flows. Cool, we've got a little bit of lo-fi sound. Where is... Let's go.
It's a negative, station command.
Let's
In an ancient Hokari temple,
That's a negative, station command. We'll have to find another way out.
Commander Stracker Ty.
Okay.
That's a negative, station command. We'll have to find another way out. Come on, help me get him up. Let's go, Senator.
Commander Stracker Tig and a young colonial soldier help an elderly Hokari statesman to his feet.
I've been a musician for...
Statesman to his feet.
I've been a musician for...
The colony has brought us
20 years. Music.
Still no
The
response.
first, or...
Let's find a section here where there's some action kicks off, and we'll go to his introduction of himself. Okay, so we actually want action.
Soldier. Two ornate knives fly past, striking both of them. Tig spins on his heel, shoving the senator to the ground.
Okay. Here we go.
Commander Stracker Tig and a young colonial...
Let's go, Senator.
Commander Stracker Tig and a young
What I'm trying to
colonial
do,
soldier...
what I'm trying to do here is actually avoid his narration being too close to his actual voiceover for the episode, because that's going to confuse people. When you've got the same voice playing two different roles, you can't expect everyone to understand what's going on. So I'm going to leave his narration out of the selected audio at the moment that I'm using to demonstrate the show itself. What I'm looking for is action and music, so I'm going to scan ahead.
Tig fires his rifle, but Dorgo spits a glob of acid at him, melting the weapon in his hands.
There we go, that's good. And it also repeats Senator. So let's get all this stuff. Turn off. Actually, no, keep it on. And we'll get all his... Here's another little trick. When you've got a crossfade like this,
That's a negative, station command. We'll have
that's fine, because it sounds natural, but sometimes it sounds unnatural.
up. Let's go, Senator.
That is a sudden and weird cut, so I'm going to use his dialogue, which pushes. There's a sidechain compressor on the audio drama track on this one, and what it does is his dialogue then pushes down the background track so that his voice comes through more clearly, and while that volume gets lowered, that's a good time to do unnatural segues from one side to the other, like this.
Come on, help me get him up. Let's go, Senator.
I've been a musician for...
Rifle,
I
but
don't know,
Dorgo spits a glob
20 years?
of weapon in his hands.
The volume levels still aren't right, but we're going to get to volume later. We're in the first pass where we just want to arrange all the items.
The glob
20 years?
weapon in his hands.
I'm also going to slightly condense this section so that we have run Senator.
20 years?
Tig swings his fist at Dorgo, but the assassin
Is the relentless reverb on Gabe's voice, so we're going to kill that envelope for now, I think. Yeah. Right, so now you should have much drier voice.
The apartment with a bunch of my best friends, and I wish...
Let's not skip ahead too far. Where are we? We're in the audio drama section. Yeah.
spits a glob.
20 years?
Tig swings his fist at Dorgo, but the assassin is too fast.
The first album I ever owned as a kid was the soundtrack to Batman Returns by...
Okay, now we're getting into the composer section. So what we actually want to do now is end the audio drama playback section, and I'm going to do that by going.
The colonial
that's a great place to start. So
20 years.
Tig swings. The Colonial's helmet clatters away, revealing an insectoid head. With an alien fluidity, Dorgo draws his knife from the dead soldier. Dorgo pounces onto the Elder Hokari, pinning him to the ground.
what I'm looking for now is some kind of sign-off moment, where like a gunshot or just something that's final, that I can use to end the audio drama playback section.
He shoots the knife out of Dorgo's hand. The Zeridian glares. He shoots the knife out of Dorgo's hand. The Zeridian glares back over his shoulder.
We had a deal, Tig.
Get away from him, Dorgo.
Dorgo raises his hands reluctantly.
Kill him, Commander.
Shut your grecking alien mouth.
Tig keeps his pistol
That's great. Okay, let's use that. Shut your grecking alien mouth. All within the first few minutes of the audio drama, meaning that if someone is into the show and they do pick up on Star Called, then their expectations are very quickly satisfied and they'll be more likely to be into the remainder of the series.
Kill him, Commander.
Shut your
Kill him, Commander.
Shut your grecking alien mouth.
Kill him, Commander.
Shut your grecking alien mouth.
Can I
The Colonial's helmet clattered.
let's go take it back.
Kill him, Commander.
Alright, and this is why I've got a second audio drama.
Shut your grecking alien.
Kill him, Commander. Kill him, Commander.
Shut your grecking alien mouth.
Tig.
That's great. Okay, so now I can actually just put that back up there. Let's try it again. We've got a problem, and that is the EQ appears to be dipping at that point. Not ideal. What is going on? Also, the volume level, is it, of this? The reverb, we want to actually just remove that, and then something's dipping off where it shouldn't.
Kill him, Commander.
Shut your grecking alien mouth.
Tig.
We've still got way too much reverb there, not sure why that's happening. Oh yes, when I deleted the envelope it reset it to 0.
Come on, help me get him up. Let's go, Senator.
Now we've got this issue, which is, I think, what is that? Low pass. Why is there a low pass on that?
Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode 60, Back to the Berenian, composed by me, Gabriel Alvarez. Thank you for being here. Welcome back to How I Make Music, episode
Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. So I didn't actually need this second audio drama channel, AD channel. Cool. A lot goes into the show, eh?
Let's go.
You can see now I've been working for 30 minutes already, and I'm still in the first sort of 5 minutes. So think about it like that. Trying to get everything exactly right.
been a musician for
Rifle. But Dorgo spits a
20 years.
What I'd like to do, actually, what I should do is just share the fact that I'm doing this. One, two, 1, 2.
For
Rifle. But Dorgo spits a
20 years.
for rifle, but Dorgo spits a glove.
20 years.
Kill him, Commander!
Shut your grunting alien.
Okay. Let's just share that. Cool. Cool. Right on.
I've been a musician for
Rifle, but Dorgo spits a glove.
20 years.
Okay, so that's
I've been
an
a musician
example of
Rifle, but Dorgo spits a glove.
20 years.
that's an example of vocal clashing, which doesn't work. So we have to change that.
Let's go, Senator.
I've been a musician for
Rifle, but Dorgo spits a glove.
20 years.
So this section here needs to be something other than Gabe talking.
Tig swings his. Tig swings his. With an alien fluidity, Dorgo draws it from the dead soldier. Dorgo pounces on
Why
it.
don't we just reuse the beginning section, seeing as this being played really softly right under his voice. We're not going to be able to hear much. So it's one of my little cheats is if you're side chaining vocals to the audio drama underneath, then the audio drama underneath doesn't need to be very detailed because the vocals are pushing them all down anyway. Now I'm scrolling back through to the beginning of time to try and find a generic musical sound part with no vocal to clash. So let's hear it again.
I've been a musician for, I don't know, 20 years.
Okay, that's good. So we take a little section of the instrumental and then you go into Run Senator.
No, 20 years.
Been in his hands.
Too sudden, the crossfade is too sudden. And then what we also want is, we want this to overlap there more. Good. We'll do some delay effects on his voice there, so ha 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 ha, and then
His hands.
that's a cross section there.
Kill him, Commander!
Shut your grunting alien mouth.
Mouth. We'll do the delay effect going on there. Okay, so I've got an idea in mind on that, which means that brings us to the end of the opening audio drama playback. So this is typically in each episode of How I Make Music. I play a clip of the audio drama, usually from the first episode, and then I move on to a little bit more about the composer, him, her, or itself. Let's leave that there for reference. We can use it later if we need. Cool. Section 1, well, after the intro, is complete. Create a region for section 2, and this is a little bit about. I've still got the wrong color settings, so let's change that. About. Hey man, don't give me shit. Okay, something's wrong, doesn't matter. The about section. It's title back there. So this is a nice big pause after this.
Shut your grunting alien mouth.
Hi.
Fade out, calm down, stop. That means we're now segueing to another section.
The first album I ever owned as a kid.
And now let's take the Vox reverb and kill it, or just mute it at least, I guess. And now a little bit about the author.
The first album I ever owned as a kid was the soundtrack to Batman Returns by Danny Elfman.
Okay, and now we've got the first album, and that is going to be. Let's just take off this ripple editing because we're going to need to redo everything. Is this it? That's it, yeah.
The first.
Cool. Now I've got a section for this, which is actually also going to be put under the audio drama section. It's not really an audio drama, but I use this same channel so that I don't have to have a different channel, a different track name for each segment. That would be a waste. Cool. So now we're playing a bit of Batman, and we'll put Gabe's voice over the crossfade to prevent the weird sounding crossfade. We use the voice to push that down. Here we go. This is where your copyright strikes come in. Oh, I love this theme.
The first album I ever owned as a kid was the soundtrack to Batman Returns by Danny Elfman. Obviously, you hit like Star Wars, right? And that's like a turning point in every kid's life.
Of course, and there's no doubt that that's influenced absolutely everybody. What is this? Master. Show me your face. Who are you?
And doing opera.
I heard you for a second there in the background. That's me. There, just. No, I don't belong on this show. Okay, I see what's happened here. We've just included some audio which is not necessary, and I'm assuming that that's the same thing. Let's not use it. And this master. Okay. That's his track. Okay, so that's good. Master. Don't know what all that stuff is. I don't think it's important. Is this all me? Let's get rid of it now if it is. Simplify things. I mean, the quality for the call isn't great, but I can hear what you're saying. A disaster. Would you mind just like... This is my track. Okay, it's got reverb on it, but that's fine. Cool, I don't need myself in there. That's good. Okay, we're starting to make a bit more sense now. So, Batman,
it's just
Star
percussion.
Wars.
It's just
Okay, a bit more of this.
the first album I ever owned as a kid was the soundtrack to Batman Returns by Danny Elfman. Obviously, you hit like Star Wars, right? And that's like a turning point in every kid's life. Starcalled is my take on doing space opera, doing this epic sci-fi action adventure show, and cinematic quality, pacing, on all of that stuff. There was a lot of cool stuff out there, but there wasn't anything quite like what I wanted to be listening to.
Okay.
Rear with his pulse rifle. The Holkari troopers tighten their maneuvers around.
Got so much reverb. I'm gonna just delete or mute all of these reverbs for now. It's gotta bridge this gap. So still in the about section, and we've got John Williams going. I want to tidy up his vocal.
Starcalled is my take on.
Got the reverb. It's this guy here. Influences section. So let's make his.
Starcalled is my take.
Turn that off. And now what we're gonna do is pointers. First it's and the vocals. Then I can select those two.
Back to the Berenian, composed by me.
There we go.
Starcalled is my take on doing. Starcalled is my take on space opera,
Okay.
doing.
Music that he sent. It's a nice track. It's got that kind of exotic vibe to it. Let's stick that in here instead. Here we go.
Let's go, Senator.
I've been a musician for, I don't know, 20 years. Musician for, I don't know, 20 years. Musician for, I don't know, 20 years.
Cool.
Starcalled is my take on doing space opera, doing this epic sci-fi action adventure show.
I'll fix the fade outs and the volume later.
Cinematic quality, pacing, on all of that stuff.
And then
There was a lot of cool stuff out there, but there wasn't anything.
I was there. Okay, I'm taking out. I was there.
There was a lot of cool stuff out there, but there wasn't anything quite like what I wanted to be listening to. You know, just kind of take it upon yourself to make the kind of content you want to consume. Who doesn't pretend that they're climbing into the cockpit of a spaceship or something like that?
Okay, that's good. A nice little vocal break there to give us a breather before the audio drama clip. So here's that part again.
Who doesn't pretend that they're climbing into the cockpit of a spaceship or something like that?
Run, Senator!
And then we'll bring it in here.
The cockpit of a spaceship or something like that.
In his hands.
Run, Senator!
Okay, so we've got the problem, which is the voice.
Something like that.
Hands.
Run, Senator!
Runs
Something
in.
like that.
Run, Senator!
Got
Something
the
like
S.
Run, Senator!
Got the S still there. We could maybe steal one of his timpani rolls just to get that moment more.
They're climbing into the cockpit of a spaceship or something like that.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need a or something like that there.
Or, I don't know.
Let's just deselect. That's good. Okay, let's take that. Very clear what he's saying, and then we extend that section, and that's fine. And then we've got the influence.
Track to Batman Returns by Danny Elfman. So you hit like Star Wars.
What's next? He talks about Farscape.
I was living in a really crummy apartment with a bunch of my best friends.
We'll do a reverb sweep there.
I was living in a really
Closer.
I was living in a actually, yeah, let's make a sci-fi show. It was like a fun thing. We were really big into tabletop games and D&D and all that. But then I just kept running with it, you know, and I just kept writing.
Farscape. So when he mentions Farscape, we've got to get Farscape in there. Or actually clips from Farscape.
Make a sci-fi show with a $0 budget. I was like, well, actually, yeah, let's make a sci-fi show. It was like a fun thing. We were really big into tabletop games and D&D and all that. But then I just kept running with it, you know, and I just kept
What
writing.
I'm going to do here is I want to actually get a clip from Farscape. I think I'm going to need to do that. Let's go for it. Farscape. Farscape trailer, season 1. I've got to watch this show. I've seen the first episode, I think. Dialogue. We want dialogue. This looks awesome. Boy, was Spielberg ever wrong. That's a great clip. Okay, so what we're doing is we're getting the audio from the Farscape trailer from YouTube, and we're going to use that for this section when he mentions Farscape, and we'll save that in the audio drama section. Yeah, Farscape trailer season 1. Good. Cool. Okay, something wrong with the connection, but anyway, whatever. Cool, let's do that, and we should have Farscape available here. Could not import 101 items. Oh, cray, how annoying. Let's try that again. Nope, failing. Okay, could not import 101. How very irritating. What is going on? Got a problem. Can at least play this file. No, apparently it cannot. Okay, so then it's over to the big boys. I mean, there's always a way to get the stuff, but it's finding okay, on with the fan. Noisy background fan. Because I'm getting hot in here. Maybe I should just take a breather. Okay, I do not want that. Okay, then let's just try this the old manual way. Audacity. Because I have the audacity to use it. We're going to record. And there's the audio. That was like an ad for the 90s. Okay. Expect the whole thing. You shut up and you just stick in the desktop for now. Farscape. No tags required. Cool, so that's one way to get your audio. You can just resample it using the loopback function, Wasapi loopback function on Audacity if your YouTube downloads are failing for any reason, or yeah, you can hear a fan in the background now. Okay, great. Then let's kill that and make sure our stuff is in the right place. I'm gonna cut it and stick it there, and I'll be very surprised if this doesn't import. There we go. Done deal. So now he mentions Farscape and we can take it from there. So that was like, that cost me about 7 or 8 minutes just to find and import one track which was being troublesome.
Best friends, and I was living in a really crummy apartment with a bunch of my best friends, and I was actually showing them Farscape. And we were
I love using pauses when people say and to begin playback of a clip.
a bunch of my best friends, and
This is madness.
I was actually showing them Farscape, and we would hang out and watch it, and it was like, haha, yeah, we're gonna make a sci-fi show with a $0 budget.
Let's push his vocal back a bit here.
And it was like, haha, yeah, we're gonna make a sci-fi show with a $0 budget. I was like, well, actually, yeah, let's make a sci-fi show. Sci-fi show. It was like a just kind of made it up as I went.
So we've got 3 influences in that section.
It's happening at the same time.
Okay. These stems and these separates. Yeah, there we go. Action strings, all of that. Can't believe it. So let's just first figure out what he's saying here. I haven't heard this in a year. I'll listen at 2x just to get
Is there? I'll use what was it? No.
So this. Cool. So we've
But then I just kept running.
With this pulse rifle.
some.
But then I just kept running with it. I just kept writing and.
Okay, let's get back to 1x. Yeah, actually, let's first just listen to his next section.
When I'm writing this script, I hear the music in my head, and a lot of times it's happening at the same time. There is, I don't want to say a muse or something that I'm following. That really, the blueprint is there, and it's just assembling everything around it.
It's just assembling everything around it. Great, good insight.
For strings, for percussion, I'll use what was it? Native instruments, cinematic strings, cinematic brass, cinematic percussion. A couple of 8DO VSTs like Taiko. Strings for percussion, I'll use what was it? Native instruments, cinematic strings, cinematic brass, cinematic percussion. A couple of 8DO VSTs like Taiko. Instruments, cinematic strings, cinematic brass, cinematic percussion. A couple of 8DO
VSTs like Taiko.
ensembles and stuff like that. This piece, Back to the Berenian, picks up right before a big climactic confrontation and battle between 2 different parties of characters. Colonials who have been in charge of everything, they're sort of the default protagonists, and the 2 of the prisoners that they have captured and beaten up and treated pretty poorly. The 2 prisoners who've just escaped from the space station are Osborn, who is a human, and his friend Adi, who is a lizard, a 4-armed lizard alien. This piece takes us from an emotional low of Adi finding out about his brother and connects us all the way through a long build-up into an action sequence, which is ship-to-ship combat in an asteroid field. It's the track of the roller coaster that takes us over a couple of hills and valleys and then leads us up into this huge explosive moment in the episode.
Cool. Gonna need more clips from the audio drama there.
There's something honest and true that is carrying us through these scenes. There's something emotional. I started out kind of faking my way through it, and now I'm more confident. I feel better about taking chances on the sounds, on the mixes, on the balances, and this is the moment that you really enjoy as a composer, when you can sit back and say, you listen to your piece and say, okay, yeah, that was pretty good sequence, but I'll sit and I'll conduct. If it doesn't feel right, then it's not right. I do a lot of movements by minor thirds in Starkhold. I'm a huge fan of an old Australian. It's something that they do in their theme song, which really resonated with me. I think it sounds awesome, and I repeat it a lot.
Okay, let's do this piece by piece then. This section here is generic string stuff, if I'm not mistaken. So That's good. Let's get rid of everything. Yeah, I'm gonna redo this basically. All of this, and now we import, and we want this to onto here. Click baby reinvent, because let's get rid of all of that. Everything to the template. Looks like some of them don't have words, don't have titles. Stop, delete, getting up. Maybe it's metadata, it's not bringing it in. What have we got here? Action string, hellos. I like your naming protocols, bro. Caps for the type, and lowercase for master. We've already got a copy of. Cool, let's get rid of those. And
time. There.
we're giving a lot of do the work. Okay, we'll be back. Bathe. this having some broadens the opportunities to influence the people who the male